What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Les Alex here. I know it's been a while since I had a dedicated YouTube video come out, but this month, February, I am excited to say I will have a brand new video for you each and every single week, probably going to be about Pioneer. And this week, we're going to be talking about the brand new Dimir Inverter Combo deck that's been blowing up the Pro Tour, or Players Tour. As always, though, if you dig the content, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button and to follow me on Twitter. And I'm streaming 4 days a week over on Twitch. So all that information will be in the content below. Check that out over there on Twitch and Twitter. Let's get into this. The brand new Inverter Combo deck. What the heck is this deck? What is it trying to do? And how does it win? These are all questions that will be answered right here, right now. So, Inverter of Truth, this guy right here, this big, beautiful Eldrazi. It's a 4-mana 6/6 devoid flying. Got to have a downside. Well, in this deck, it is quite far from a downside. When it enters the battlefield, you exile your entire deck, and your graveyard becomes your deck. Now, what could that be good with? Well, of course, Thassa's Oracle, the brand new card from Theros Beyond Death. I love the fact that they're making a bunch of merfolk that don't go in merfolk. To me, that's just hilarious. But yeah, congrats, Wizards. You keep doing it. I'm looking at you, Emery. I'm looking right at you. So when this enters the battlefield, you look at the top X card of your library where X is your devotion to blue. You get to put one of those on top and the rest on the bottom. And if X was equal to or less than the devotion, you'd win the game. So obviously what we're trying to do is play Inverter of Truth and then into Thassa's Oracle to win the game. Obviously, though, you're going to need to keep your graveyard pretty clean. You're going to try and dig through time your graveyard. So the delve mechanic here is going to be huge. This may, in fact, be the deck that gets dig through time banned. I'm not a fan of that, but it's possible. What else do we have in this deck? Well, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, is a backdoor way to win the game. If you've already inverted and have a Jace on the battlefield, you can just mill yourself, draw a card, and win the game. Seems pretty easy. Of course, Jace can also target your opponent so that you can turn your Drown in the Locks on and really get those bad boys going. At its core, though, this deck is a control deck with a combo finish. We're playing two of the best cards in the format in Thoughtseize as a 4 of and Fatal Push that is a 4 of. This is a combo control deck. You want to clear up the board with the Fatal Pushes and counter all of the things with this Censor and really just clear up the board with these Drowning Locks. Opt to find your combo pieces. Omen of the Sea is a card that is really popping up in several different decks now that you need to be taking notice of, because not only does this help you find your combo pieces, it helps you find your inverters and your Thassa's Oracles. It counts towards your devotion as well. So you can potentially look at 3 cards, and then your X becomes 3. And, of course, Jace has 3 blue pips on there, so that's just excellent with Thassa's Oracle as well. And then, additionally, the mana base is extremely clean. You get 2 Choked Estuaries, Drowned Catacombs, Fable Passage to, just keep churning through this deck. Keep churning through your library, find your pieces, and combo off. And surprisingly, this deck really does grind really well. Oftentimes, you will need to win game 1 with the combo. You really do, but you can get some games where you just kill them with a giant flying 6/6. Because if you have cards in your graveyard, like maybe you have a couple Fatal Pushes in the graveyard, maybe a Censor or a Drown in the Lock. Maybe you have like 5 or 6 cards. You can just cast Inverter. You don't typically want to do this, but you can cast Inverter and then beat them down with it and keep the board clean with all of the Fatal Pushes, Drowning Locks, and Censors that you casted earlier in the game. So yeah, basically this is, though, a turn 5 or 6 combo deck. So you will, that's the key turn 5 or 6. When playing against this deck, you have to be aware of this 1-2 punch right here. They will play this first and then play their Thassa's Oracle and probably win the game. So this is the 1-2 punch that we have to look out for. I am hoping that the community can, instead of complain about it, let's try and fight this deck. Or if you want to play it, play it. I mean, you kind of missed the boat on inverters. They went from a bulk mythic rare to now they are, I don't know, $10. So, but $40 for a playset is definitely not that bad. So go pick them up, play the deck. The deck's great. I love Control, obviously. I have a podcast called Control Freak. So I love Control. This is a combo Control deck that is very awesome and is tier 1. And Piotr Golgowski, great player. He pretty much always plays the most busted deck in any format. In the sideboard, though, if you are playing a creature deck, against this deck, look for things like Scarab God, Legion's End, Cry of the Carnarium, Thief of Sanity, Noxious Grass, Ultimate Price. Some lists are even playing Bantu's Last Reckoning, and then this list is actually playing Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. And this is actually pretty interesting because back in the day, you'd play this against aggro decks to uptick and then start stealing all their 1-drops. You don't have to use mana. It only takes Ashiok's middle ability. So if they have a deck chock full of 1 and 2 drops, bring in your Ashiok. Or if you are playing the aggro deck, be aware of the Ashiok. So this is a deck that is definitely, you're going to start seeing this at FNMs. You're going to start seeing it especially at Grand Prix and Star City Games events. So this deck is very good. It's got early game Hand Disruption, Thought Seize into Thought Erasure, into Inverter, into Thassa is often just lights out. So this deck is very good, and I hope that we can adjust. Now, obviously, there are cards that do stifle this deck's plans. Things like Gideon of the Trials is a great example. Gideon of the Trials, you play Gideon of the Trials, you make an emblem that says you can't lose the game as long as there's a Gideon in play. Now, then, when they go to play their Thassa's Oracle with their Inverter of Truth in play, they do not win because you can't lose. So that's one thing, though. Keep a watch out for Inverter. I actually did this earlier tonight. I was playing this deck, and I had Inverter in play, and then on their turn, they casted Gideon and Minus and had no follow-up. And so I, on my turn, just attacked with the Inverter of Truth, played my Thassa, and proceeded to win the game right on schedule. No qualms about that. Additionally, cards that destroy or remove the graveyard, things like Leyline of the Void, things like Rest in Peace. These are double-edged swords, though, because, yes, they do turn off Dig Through Time. Dig Through Time, the most powerful card in this deck for sure. It helps eat up all of the graveyard because this deck really wants to have no cards in its graveyard whenever they go to cast their Thassa's Oracle to make it as easy as possible. But Leyline of the Void obviously shuts Dig Through Time off, the Delve mechanic off. But when they go to cast their Inverter, there's no cards. There will be no cards in their graveyard. So it's a double-edged sword because when they cast their Thassa's Oracle with Inverter in play, it's always going to be 0. So they can always just immediately win the game. And another thing to take note of right here, Thassa's Oracle does not have to be on the battlefield when the trigger resolves. So as long as the spell resolves, the spell Thassa's Oracle resolves, bing, bang, boom, it resolves. Say you have a Fatal Push or a Doomblade, right? And you hit it with it. As soon as it resolves, bang, it's there. It's going to happen. The trigger's going to happen, and more than likely, your opponent or you will win the game. So that is one thing to definitely keep in mind with this new deck. I just wanted to show you this deck because it's it's a fun deck to play, and also it is a very good deck. It is insanely consistent, and again, they don't have to always kill you with the combo. They can just beat you down with an Inverter of Truth, or backdoor in with Jace Wielder of Mysteries and just win that way. So this is definitely a deck that in Pioneer you have to be aware of, and I definitely expect it to be popping up more and more, especially if it has a good showing at the Pro Tour. But yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. Hopefully you got some value in this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And again, I am streaming 4 nights a week, so head on over to my Twitch channel and give me a follow over there. And chop it up with me on Twitter. I talk a lot about Control, but just Magic in general. I share memes, stuff like that. And yeah, if you really enjoy the content and want to, hey, Alex, how can I help out a little bit more? Head on over to my Patreon and consider becoming a patron. I got a lot of cool stuff. I've got stickers, Control Freak stickers that every single patron member gets. But yeah, everybody, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, spread some Azorius propaganda.